Hey, hi, hello. Welcome to Diana Emerson. Today we're watching Killers Caught on Camera.
In the UK in 2020, there were over 5 million CCTV cameras. The COVID pandemic led to a sharp rise in home surveillance and doorbell cameras. And this helped catch more criminals on camera.
CCTV sources and video evidence in general has now become crucial in solving crime. Without all these multiple camera sources, a lot of cases would be abandoned. There would be simply not enough evidence to progress them.
And now in the UK, you're increasingly likely to be filmed even outside the main cities.
There is a significant increase in the use of these types of cameras in rural areas because that's where there's a significant increase in crime.
The Forest of Dean, Gloucestershire, England. On the 12th of May 2020, the UK was in lockdown. Everyone was grounded, confined to their homes. Coronavirus restrictions meant all but essential travel was forbidden. Despite the emergency laws, an unfamiliar vehicle was spotted driving up and down a remote road near the Welsh border.
This is a home security camera that we can see. A concerned citizen is actually asking the police to investigate why this car is moving, and the police goes there to investigate.
Dr. Vasilios Karagiannopoulos is a digital forensics expert in the School of Criminology and Criminal Justice at the University of Portsmouth.
The home surveillance camera actually allows the police to identify the license plate, and when they check, the car is registered at an address in Wolverhampton. This is more than 80 miles away from the location where this footage is received from. So the police have a good reason to investigate why this car is moving so far away from its registered address.
Police officers pulled the car over and spoke to the male driver of the vehicle. He said he was waiting for a friend. Police reminded him of COVID regulations and sent him on his way. But by 10 o'clock that night, the same vehicle was spotted again, lurking near the woodland. The police knew something wasn't right. They went back to check out the vehicle. A woman had just been dropped off by the side of the road with 2 suitcases in the middle of the night.
The police visit the scene where the car was spotted, and they actually find a woman in the area with some pieces of luggage close to the car.
Okay, can I just explain, because as I said before, like I've had,
Step away, please.
I've had issues with that.
Step away, please.
I have to stop there.
The police officers inquire about what's in the luggage, and the suspect is actually trying to prevent them from opening the luggage.
You don't get arrested for obstructing police.
I don't want to stop you guys.
You are stopping us.
Emmy Polito is a forensic video and audio analyst working with police forces all over the UK.
So on this recording, we're actually seeing the suitcase. We don't know what's inside yet. A very grim discovery is made at the scene where they actually find out that the suitcase contains the remains of a body.
The woman found with the suitcases was 28-year-old Garika Gordon.
The suspect, Karika Gordon, is caught red-handed with a suitcase containing a dismembered body. But in order to be able to convict her, the police need to find a lot more evidence to start building the case and making sure the case is as robust as it can be.
Garika was arrested and charged with murder. The driver was held for assisting an offender. A chance traffic stop turned into a major investigation. The police had to start from scratch to find out how Garika was involved and the identity of the body in the suitcases. Lozells Birmingham. With a population of 12,000, an inner city area that has high rates of violence, drugs, and weapon possession. Garika Gordon was living at a hostel. She came to England from Jamaica aged 7. A troubled life ensued. She was sexually abused and had to leave the family home after coming out as gay. After Garika's arrest, forensic analysis of her phone revealed she made a call to a helpline. Part of the transcript revealed issues with another woman. Phoenix Nets was also living in the same hostel. A 28-year-old woman who dreamt of becoming a paramedic. As a child, she was a keen rider and close to her family. Phoenix was desperate to move back to London, but lockdown stalled the move. On the 7th of April, Phoenix sent a worrying text to a friend.
There's a girl here who keeps asking me to be sexual. I think I'm going to move back to London. It's getting me. We can see there's a clear indication that she was concerned about this girl.
Coral Dando served on the front line as an officer in the Metropolitan Police in London. She is now a professor of forensic psychology.
They may have had a friendship, a female friendship, and Garika wanted to take that further, it would appear. And it seems as if Phoenix didn't want that. The information suggests that she was very anxious, very upset about Garika's sexual advances towards her. And of course, that is a form of sexual violence, and it can happen between same-sex relationships in the same as it can do in any other relationship. Unwanted sexual attention can have a significant effect psychologically, emotionally, can trigger anxiety. And it seems as if Phoenix was a vulnerable young woman, and I think it triggered a vulnerability response, an anxiety response in a way exactly as we would predict.
Vulnerable people are more likely both to be perpetrators of crimes and to be victims of crimes. Both the victim and the perpetrator were vulnerable. So these weren't people who came from really stable environments with lots of resources. These are people who had, in different ways, needs, and these needs weren't being met. Hostels are also a sort of in-between space where you're not meant to stay there forever. You're meant to be there as emergency housing or for a temporary amount of time. And that can lend them a very transitional feel in that people are in and out a lot. And you're encountering strangers and you're sleeping in very close proximity to strangers. In no other context would you be doing that in the same way. And so it can open up new and different dynamics, which can also lead to violence or difficult situations. So it's not to say that hostels are inherently dangerous. It's just that there are a lot of people with existing vulnerabilities in them. With Garika in custody, digital forensic teams checked the CCTV footage obtained from outside the hostel.
So we have CCTV here from the suspect's home, and it's the job of the police to go back days, weeks, even months to try to find valuable evidence as to what has happened.
On the 11th of April, Phoenix was captured on CCTV. But in the early hours of the 16th of April, another woman living in the hostel heard noises of drilling and banging and someone shouting for help. At around 5:30 in the morning, a search was made on Phoenix's phone.
Mobile phones and smartphones are incredibly important to an investigation, not just because of call records of text messages. In this case, the police were able to identify a number of searches conducted on the mobile phone that were of interest to the investigation.
One of the searches was how to fix a punctured lung. One was internal bleeding. Can someone recover from getting stabbed?
Over the next few days, CCTV from outside the hostel captured a series of unusual activities.
The police are trying to get a better picture of exactly what has happened. And as a matter of fact, the CCTV reveals a number of suspicious activities carried out by the suspect.
A cover-up at appeared to be underway.
The suspect is found at the DIY store buying cleaning products.
On the 20th of April, a van arrived to collect carpet, a bed, and some black bags.
The suspect can be seen carrying bin bags, even though the footage is nice.
When the search history was cross-referenced with CCTV footage and card purchases, a gruesome picture began to emerge.
We also know that the perpetrator was looking for a circular saw. We can actually see a person delivering a big box to the suspect's address that could actually be including the circular saw she purchased.
The pathologist's report confirmed the body parts found in the suitcases were dismembered with a circular saw. And police determined through DNA analysis that the dismembered corpse was Phoenix Ned's. If you picture dismembering someone, the intense, emotional, visceral sort of gut reaction to that is the worst thing I can possibly think of doing. And so we assume that someone who has gone through with dismembering a body must also have felt that way as they were butchering up a body. But in reality, what we know is that people often see dead bodies no longer as human beings, arguably correctly because they are dead, but they see them as a problem to be solved. They see them as evidence, and so that evidence needs to be gotten rid of somehow. On closer inspection, detectives felt the messages sent from Phoenix's phone after the 16th of April didn't add up.
Another very interesting piece of evidence is this message saying, feel free to reach me by email, because obviously email is far more impersonal. You don't have to speak to anyone, and anyone can send an email pretending to be Phoenix. That's when they realize Phoenix is not using her phone anymore, and someone else has her phone.
It's not unknown to use the victim's phone to send out text messages, to send out information, to deceive the outside world, to suggest that that person is still alive. And that's clearly what's happened here.
In a lot of the cases I've seen recently, people have at some point pretended to text on behalf of somebody else, or they send an email lying about their whereabouts or the victim's whereabouts, and it's usually to buy themselves more time and to fake that this person is alive for some period of time. As well as impersonating Phoenix in text messages, a voice-altering app was used to send voice notes to Phoenix's family and friends.
Of course, these apps can be used in various different ways, and we can see here they can be used for criminal purposes as well.
Nowadays, you don't need to be a tech genius to create a deepfake. There's plenty of apps available you can download to your phone or your laptop. They can just capture somebody's voice using a machine, and I can get them to say things they never said.
Colin Robinson is an expert in audio forensics at Liverpool John Moores University. He has examined audio evidence from some of the most high-profile cases.
A deepfake is a computerized representation of a person's voice or their face. All our voices have very special nuances. The thing is, if you distill it down to numbers, which is what a computer does, you can manipulate those numbers and then put in those nuances that weren't there before. When we use a phone, our expectations of the quality is quite low, isn't it? We know that it's not quite the voice that we're hearing, it's a representation of the voice because of the quality of the microphone and the phone itself. This is where the criminal can take advantage. The police really have to be on their toes to be sure they know what they're looking at.
When audio evidence appears suspicious, Colin has to look for clues to show the audio has been manipulated.
Now, to the untrained eye, this may not be normal, but to the trained eye, they will notice that this line here indicates an edit. And what that means is a piece of audio has been taken out and it's been cut together and spliced together. So when we're analysing audio files, these are just some of the things that we will look for to see whether the audio has been manipulated.
All the fake audio and text messages sent from Phoenix's phone meant her disappearance went undetected.
In the coming days, there is a lot of CCTV footage collected relating to the suspect. Leaving her house, cycling about, taking the train, the whole pattern of her movements and how she's moving around the city and the area in general is looking very chaotic.
Meticulous analysis of Garika's phone records and thousands of hours of CCTV footage showed regular trips to the Forest of Dean, 70 miles from Birmingham, despite early lockdown restrictions. Just 11 days after the night of the murder on April 16th, CCTV revealed another mistake.
What is really telling is her visit to a police station. She goes in, she's asking for a charger for a particular brand of phone, but then hands in another brand of phone. The police officer here is actually telling the suspect that she's given the wrong brand of phone for the charger she asked. She takes out a different phone and hands it in to get charged and takes the other phone. She has 2 mobile phones.
Strong evidence that Garika had Phoenix's phone all along. And the most crucial piece of evidence was also captured on CCTV.
We also had footage in the daylight of the suspect carrying suitcases.
But at this stage, it became clear dismemberment wasn't considered enough to destroy the evidence of the crime. Garika was then caught on camera buying fuel in a gas canister in Gloucestershire.
We have seen from her internet searches that she is actually looking of ways to dispose of the body. Now we have evidence of her getting petrol in order to achieve that.
That night, Garika was found with 2 suitcases containing charred body parts.
You're gonna get arrested for obstructing police.
I don't want to stop you guys.
You are stopping us.
Seems very much by the truncated, short, sharp responses that she gives the police officers' questions that she hadn't expected to have to give an account.
Don't.
Step away, please.
I've had issues with that.
Step away, please.
I have to stop that.
She'll be paddling really hard cognitively to try and discourage that police officer or the police officers from accessing, opening the suitcase, which she clearly knows have got body parts in them. And once that's been accessed, the game is over.
Body-worn cameras, CCTV footage, the home surveillance cameras, the text messages, the internet history. We have a puzzle of information that the investigators can put together and create a very thorough and strong case to convict the suspect.
The driver of the vehicle was released without charge, but Garika Gordon was comprehensively caught on camera. She pleaded guilty to Phoenix's murder at Bristol Crown Court on the 21st of April, 2021. She was given a life sentence with a minimum term of 23 years.
She planned this murder meticulously, it would seem. And certainly after the murder was committed, where it was carried out was cleaned, the body was dismembered, and she'd clearly thought about how she was going to dispose of Phoenix's body.
In England and Wales, in the year ending 2020, fewer than 7% of the homicides were perpetrated by women. The vast majority of women who kill an abusive partner. So they're either killing as a form of self-defense, or they're killing someone who, after many, many years of abuse, they've taken revenge on.